Hello, innovators. I'm Todd Wyant, and welcome to the Bridging the Gap podcast presented by Applied Software Greatech Group. You're invited to join our conversation to model the future of construction innovation and the digital transformation adventure of this great industry. We recorded this conversation live at the Advancing Preconstruction show in Denver with Wes Mayes, Director of Preconstruction at the Brandt Companies. Hope you enjoyed the conversation. All right, so thanks for taking the time to come around, Wes, and sit down and chat with us.
Thanks for having me.
So we're, at Advancing Precon here. What's the draw to bring you into the show this year?
Well, full transparency, I was challenging myself to be more open to public speaking, and the opportunity the opportunity just presented itself, and so I was like, all right, here we go. And so I had been in the Advancing MEP Estimating conference in Dallas last year. And I think they just, reconnected with me and asked me if I was interested. So
yeah,
I really wasn't aware of it until they reached out to me. So
yeah, nice. So you're teaching a class here during the conference?
Yeah. Going at 5 actually today.
Okay. What's it going to be on?
Minimizing design changes to mitigate cost and schedule creep.
Okay. How do you do it? What's the secret sauce there?
Well, there's no magic bullet. It's really just employing strategies and, kind of tactics, establishing the right team, open communication. Other tactics are, utilizing lessons learned from previous projects. There's just kind of a slew of things I'm going to talk about. Nothing's really groundbreaking. Like I said, there's no magic bullet. But if all these things are employed and kind of followed, adhered to, more times than not, you're going to come out with a better product than if you don't.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I would think would be a big deal would be kind of the culture that's built up around that, to have that collaboration, have the open mindset. And
Exactly right. My third subject that I'm talking to is like fostering open, environment and collaboration across your multifunctional team within your own, company, but then also making sure that the right players in the meetings when you're trying to establish what the owner's needs are. And as an MEP contractor, I'm pitching that, hey, we need to be in there. We can help guide this design and budget accordingly. So
how do you go about building those relationships to bring all the right stakeholders in the room at the right time, hopefully early on in the process, especially for the MEP guys?
Well, really, it's a case by case, right? If you're fortunate enough to get brought into an opportunity early enough, you got to prove yourself at that point, right? And then you do well, and then you become a trusted trade partner for that customer. And so I have found success in really just putting myself out there, putting our company out there as, hey, Mr. GC or Mr. Owner, if you need anything at all, just reach out to me. Budget feedback, or you want a conceptual budget or constructability reviews, just reach out. And so just trying to create an open dialogue. And after a few reps, they start to trust you. They start to recognize that the information you're giving them is, as good as you're going to get with, the information you have. And so that's at least been my strategy. Just doing good work repeatedly and making the right decisions.
Yeah. So no silver bullet, no quick fix answer here.
No, there really isn't. I mean, it's not anything that you can just be like, oh, just click this box and then you're good to go.
Yeah,
because there's so many variables,
Yeah.
So
yeah, for sure. So let's kind of talk about some of the technology that is coming in. Where do you see the emerging tech shaping Precon?
Well, obviously AI is, becoming a major player. I've been walking around the booths and seeing AI takeoff assisted software for estimating. That's becoming more prevalent. And then in pre-construction, like some other techs that I think are important. They're not necessarily innovative today, but relatively new, is like your full rack prefabrications. So you're doing your coordination with multiple trades. all the way to even like drywall, and flying in these rack systems where you're just making these, connection points at each rack piece. My company has done that successfully on maybe 3 to 4 or 5 hospitals now. So I think that is it's a huge time saver. It avoids a lot of the risk that you're going to encounter in the field.
Yeah.
But also, you're getting your owner into occupancy much sooner when you're doing this, because most of your corridor piping and ductwork and fire sprinkler piping, electrical conduit, it's all done in a controlled environment. And then, like I said, you're just flying these huge racks in.
Yeah.
So a corridor that, could take you, a month and a half, 2 months, you can do in a week.
Right. Yeah. So might sound like a basic question, but how, with modular construction coming in and really taking a big part of the equation, how is that shifting the way pre-con is functioning?
So are you asking specifically on like modular central plants, or just define modular to me? What does that mean?
That's a great question. Great follow-up question. I'm thinking of, trying to do all kind of like the DFMA side of things. So bringing in and really getting all the assemblies together, having the production.
Oh, it's just like
creating the factory
prefab.
Yeah.
And how is that affecting pre-con?
Yeah.
Well, number one, how are we going to estimate it that way? That's something that my company started employing, I don't know, maybe 8 years ago. We're actually estimating prefabrication and realizing those labor cost savings, if you will. So you're reducing your labor factors. But it also, you need to have all those parties involved, right? So your fire protection, your electrical, your med gas, and you need to have all of them on board at the estimating part of it in the pre-con phase of the project in order for it to be successful. Because if you're doing that after contracts have been signed, it's just going to get messy. So everybody's got to be on the same page. We're going to work together to make sure the coordination will work within this rack system, this modular system. So
yeah. Any kind of misconceptions that you think people have about pre-con?
So I think it's fun to say that pre-construction is a very nebulous term, and you go from company to company to company, it's going to have a little bit of a different meaning, a different feel. So yeah, I think there's a lot of misconceptions, like, what would you say you do, Bob? Sorry, that was a Office Space reference. But for me, I wear many different hats, and I'm a sales function, a marketing function, estimating reports to me. There's collaborating with engineers, and so customer relations. So with all those different functions, every day is different, and like I said, it's really hard to define exactly what that means, because it means so much.
Yeah.
And so I think.
So what does it mean to you? What does pre-con mean to you? Let's define the terms.
So from inception of an idea, like an owner wants to build a building, right? Getting involved, and then all the way to contract execution. And so everything in between. That's what I consider my role for my company.
Yeah. How do you think that will change, let's say 5 years down the road?
I don't really foresee it changing. I think the things that might change are how we estimate, maybe how we do conceptual budgeting, depending on how advanced and robust AI becomes. I for one embrace AI, and looking forward to being able to employ it to help me quantify square foot really quickly or something like that. It's really, the sky's the limit. So
yeah, what do you think the timeline is for AI to really come in and make a really sizable impact?
So on the general contractor side of things, I'm already seeing it in several companies here that it looks like, they input the sheets, the system will quantify certain areas and apply like in assemblies. But for my trades, I think we still got some time. It's a lot more granular, pipe valves and fittings and sheet metal and conduit and wire. Uh, so I think it's a lot harder to quantify that. Yeah, I would say 5 to 10 years, but I would not be surprised if we were using AI at my company in 5 years.
Nice. So what do you think the main topic of conversation will be at Advancing Precon 2025?
That's a great question. So, most of the topics have been related to design and how to improve that and how it affects budget and schedule. And so maybe there's going to be some conversations and topics about how do we employ AI into design? How can AI maybe shore up some of the loose ends on a design to, reduce the manpower needed to finish out, a space. Maybe the AI could do the simple stuff in my world, like for the HVAC system, like the runouts to grills, but the medium pressure duct is, sized and laid out by the engineer, and then the AI is sophisticated enough to kind of do the simple stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
Yeah. Is there a trend that is happening, but people aren't really talking about or focused on? Maybe AI is, overshadowing it, but is there that kind of sleeper trend out there?
I haven't seen any. I mean, AI has been kind of the forefront of the conversation for a couple of years now. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't have a good answer for that one.
It could be a real good sleeper. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see it. And I think that's kind of the fun of technology. There's always something that comes up that surprises us that we look back on and go, "Oh yeah, it was there," but you don't see it in the moment.
Immersion cooling for data centers, where you're actually submerging the server racks in I can't remember what the type of liquid they call it, but it's in a liquid, and that's how it cools itself.
Yeah.
So that's on the verge of becoming more commonplace. Right now it's really expensive, and so there's not many places that do that. But you have your I do a lot of data center work, so we got your in-row cooling where you're actually having chill water going in and out of the server racks.
Mm-hmm.
That is becoming real commonplace now. So that's just the last year, really.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just seeing it more and more and more.
Yeah. Nice. Coming back to the conference here, what's the value of coming to a conference like this? How would you encourage people to come out?
Well, obviously the networking opportunities, that's invaluable. You can't really put a value on the people you might meet and how that connection could benefit each one of you, further down the road or immediately even. Also being aware of current trends and, the booths here and all the different products that are being represented, and then just getting a perspective on what other companies and or people are doing in certain situations and comparing that to how you approach or, what your thought process might be for that, specific topic. And then just getting, kind of a group think session of these other ideas. And so it can only, help you, I think, in your career.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. So as we kind of start to wrap up here, a couple of rapid fire questions
Okay.
for you. What is the phrase modeling the future? What does that bring up in your mind?
Obviously VDC, virtual design coordination, everything being modeled, which my company's we're already there. We're doing that. We have a very robust VDC, but if I was to say what modeling the future is, just continued improvements and advancements and innovations in the VDC world.
Mm-hmm. So kind of corollary question, what does innovation mean to you?
Well, you're taking an existing, idea or strategy and you're improving it. So, where something might have taken you 2 hours with this new innovative product. Now you can do it in 30 minutes, something along those lines.
Yeah, I like it. I'm always looking for those 1% improvement areas. It's important. How do people find out more information and connect with you?
LinkedIn. My name's Wes Mayes, and I accept basically anybody on LinkedIn. So
careful saying that, it's too loud.
I'm an open book, and so I would love any kind of connections or people curious about how my brain thinks and how I approach conceptual budgeting, or really whatever comes to mind.
Awesome. Well, final question for you. If I could give you all construction power, you could snap your fingers and innovate one thing in the industry, what would you pick to innovate?
So I think that bringing MEP contractors on early is not as prevalent as it should be. So I think there's some innovation there. And really that's just owner and general contractor education as to how effective design build, progressive design build, IFOA style contracts are in relation to your traditional design bid build. And, getting your multiple contractors and then, taking low bid, all of that in the long run, I think more times than not, the schedule is going to be even longer and your cost is going to be right about the same. So then just partnering with somebody and let's go to town and let's make this happen.
I like it. Very cool. Wes, thanks so much for taking the time.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, awesome.